Hey friends, it's Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, and I thought today I'd do something a little different. We're going to do an old school kind of vlog of our day, and it is pretty early in the morning. Adam just left for work. Right now, Miss Hannah here is the only one who is awake with me. She's having her snack. I am finishing my rather large cup of green tea with honey. That is my preferred hot drink in the morning to get myself caffeinated. So Adam just left for work. Normally at this time in the morning, if it were a day where Gabriel, my oldest son, is working, I'd be making him breakfast, but thankfully it is a morning where he doesn't work, so I am letting all of the children sleep in a little bit. It is summer and we have time off school, so there isn't that rush to get up and get going so that we can start school lessons. And last night was Wednesday night, which is one of our busiest nights of the week. The girls had ballet, and then immediately following that I took all of the kids. The older 6 all are in karate. So then we had karate and we didn't get home until around 9 o'clock last night. So I appreciate on Thursday mornings being able to sleep in a little bit and have a slower start to our day. So what I'm going to do right now while I finish this tea and Hannah has her graham cracker that she's eating and making a mess of, I'm going to sit down and make a plan for the day. Now, you guys know me. If you've watched my videos at all over the last few years, I am a planner. I love to plan. You want another one?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to get her another cracker. Okay, so as I was saying, I love to make a plan, but what I'm finding in my current season of life, probably in the last 2 or 3 months, is that making detailed plans for my life is nearly impossible. So what I used to do is I would sit down on Sunday evenings and I would look at the weather for the week, I would look at everything that we had going on, and then I would look at the list of like chores and homestead work and everything that needed to be accomplished, and I would make a really detailed plan for what I was going to accomplish each day. And that worked really well for me for many years, keeping everything balanced and getting everything done in all of the different areas of my life that needed to happen. But what I found in the last 3 months is life has gotten so busy, or I don't know what it is, that it's almost impossible to plan things in advance. It's like every day lately it feels like something happens that throws our plans completely off. Like it might be an appliance breaks. We've had a lot of issues with appliances over the last month. Our fridge in our kitchen broke, and then it got so hot that our deep freezers that are outdoors in a garage couldn't keep up with the heat, and we had those malfunctioning, and it just would throw our whole day off because we'd be spending it having to move everything from one deep freezer to another and fix stuff. Or maybe it's someone stopping by unexpectedly, or like this week it was my son's college calling and saying they needed us to resend his transcripts that were updated. And so instead of what I had planned for that day, it was me updating transcripts on the computer and getting him registered for his classes. So anyways, my point in all of this is that planning in advance just isn't working in this season of life. So what I find most helpful is to sit down in the morning around this time, and just make a plan for today. So I can look at what the weather is like today, look at my list of things that I need to have accomplished this week, and just pick maybe 2 things, like one thing for the morning and one thing for the afternoon, like goals that I would like to accomplish. And that seems much more manageable, because if I overpack my day, inevitably something's going to happen. A child will wake up sick. An animal outside will have some kind of issue that will need to be dealt with. Something that will throw the day off course. So if I can just have one main goal. And so I'm going to go sit down and figure out what those goals are going to be for today. Spend some time with little Hannah here before everybody else starts to wake up. And then I'll work on breakfast. So I'm going to take you along on this day. We'll see how it unfolds. Let's see what catastrophes happen today to throw the day completely off course. We're just going to roll with the punches and see how this goes. Miss Hannah here and I got our day all planned out, and the rest of the children are starting to wake up, so it's time for me to make breakfast. But here is my plan for the day. My goal for the morning is to get, oh, you want to be held too? Let's see if I can hold two of you. I'm going to get my onions harvested in the garden. I have desperately needed to do that for probably, hold on, the last 2 weeks. And the weather is going to cooperate today. No rain. All the other days I planned it, just the weather didn't cooperate. So we're going to get onions harvested from the garden and get those curing. My garlic is cured, that has been downstairs, so I think I'll get that stored up and braided and put in their bags. And I've got my meals all planned out for the day. And then this afternoon I'm hoping to do some homeschool planning, and I'll take you along on that process. So let's go ahead and get started with breakfast. I think I'm going to make biscuits and scrambled eggs. Does that sound good, buddy? Yeah?
I don't like scrambled eggs.
You don't like scrambled eggs? What do you want instead? What about bacon? What if I make bacon? We need some protein. Can I make bacon? Okay, we'll do bacon. Alright, let's go. Alright, we're going to make our biscuits. I have my oven preheated to 450 and my bacon is already in there because it's going to be cooking while the biscuits are baking. So 450 degrees is what we're going to bake these at. And I'm doubling my recipe. So if you don't have a large family, you would want to probably have this recipe. So we are going to start with 4 cups of flour, 8 teaspoons of baking powder. I skip putting sugar in the actual batter of my biscuits because we're going to add sugar to the top in the form of jam. So no sugar in it, but we are going to add salt. I'm just going to do 1 teaspoon of salt. And those are the dry ingredients. So I'm just going to mix those together so we don't end up with a big chunk of baking powder in one of the biscuits when I add the wet ingredients. Okay, next I'm going to add 2 eggs, 1 1/3 cups of cold liquid. If you're a family that can have dairy, I would add milk. If I had thought ahead, I would have made like some almond milk or something like that, but cold water works just as well. So we're just going to add the cold water, and it was 1 1/3 cups of cold liquid. Now you're going to want to add your fat. You want a fat that is solid at room temperature. So butter would be, you know, the usual preference for this. You could use lard, anything like that that's solid. Coconut oil works great. I'm going to use palm fruit shortening today because I have some in the kitchen and I need to get this used up. And we need 1 cup of it. So we're just going to scoop this out and put it in the batter. Now I'm going to mix this all together with my little biscuit cutter here. We're just kind of pushing down on that to get this all formed together and cut the fat into the dry ingredients. A food processor works really well for this too. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little more lazy or if I'm doing a smaller batch that can fit in my little food processor. Uh-oh. Hey guys, why don't you get downstairs, okay? The food processor cuts that fat in really nicely. So I'm just going to get this mixed up. Towards the end I'm going to use my hands and then we can roll this out and get it in the oven. So Hannah broke my old tripod last week. Good thing you're so cute, right? Come here. She broke, why are you wet? Did you spill your baba? Your leg is wet. She broke my old tripod that used to angle down. I bought a new one, not realizing it doesn't angle. So we're going to have to make do today. And, oh, thank you. And see how I can show you what I'm cooking without angling it down towards the counter. Hi. All right, let's roll these biscuits out. I just rolled our dough out here. And in the past, if I'm feeling fancy, I would use a biscuit cutter like this to cut out shapes and then re-roll it and keep doing it. But what I find to be, it tastes exactly the same, but it's a whole lot easier, is just to cut it like this bakes up the same, and it saves me the time of having to roll and re-roll biscuits. So I'm going to get these cut and in the oven, and they're going to bake for about 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, our biscuits are in the oven, and inevitably when I film myself baking something for breakfast in the morning, I'll get questions from people wondering why I don't do like big batch baking days so that I can fill the freezer with baked goods to make my mornings go a little more easier, I guess. There are times where I do that. I've shown that in videos before, where sometimes I'll take a Sunday and do a bunch of prep work and bake ahead for the week. But to be honest, that took me 15 minutes to get the biscuits put together and into the oven. 15 minutes is not that long. I have that in the morning. Most of my recipes I've done many, many times at this point. It's like on autopilot, just compiling the ingredients and getting them in the oven, making a batch of muffins or making biscuits or something. It takes me 15 minutes to get it in the oven. So I think about the amount of time and work it would do to do a big batch baking day of muffins and biscuits, and then the resources it would take, you know, like all of the plastic baggies and stuff to get them all frozen, and then the freezer space that it would take up for our family to have, you know, multiple meals worth of muffins frozen up. And then the time that it would take and the forethought that it would take to, you know, pull the muffins out the night before so that they would be thawed in the morning, or the extra time it would take to thaw them in the oven or whatever. And I'm just like, honestly, to me, it feels just as easy to take 15 minutes to just whip together a baked good in the morning for the family, and then it's done fresh. And I don't have to use freezer space because we already have so many freezers going here for all of the protein that we grow and purchase from local farmers that I have very little space to spare for muffins and things, unless it's winter. And as the freezer starts to empty, sometimes I'll think about freezing baked goods. So that's why I don't do that. That took 15 minutes. It was really easy. I'm gonna clean up a little bit here on the counter, wash some fruit, and pretty soon breakfast will be done, and then I'm gonna wake the older kids. It is pushing 8 o'clock, which is plenty late enough for them to be sleeping in. I don't need my teenagers sleeping too late. I've found that without the structure of school, if I don't go up there and wake them up at a decent time, these kids will sleep in rather late, and we have animals outside that are waiting to be fed. So we're gonna get started with that now. All right, all of the children are awake right now, and they've moved on to their morning chores. So Gabriel and David, my oldest boys, they handle our cow and dog chores, and together it takes them maybe at the most 20 minutes to do. My daughter Grace handles our chicken and duck chores, also takes her about 20 minutes to do those chores. Levi, my 8-year-old, handles our young chick chores. They're the chickens that are in our chicken tractor outside. It takes him maybe 10 to 15 minutes to feed and water them, and then he'll get the big boys to help them move the chicken tractor to a new spot every couple of days. And Elizabeth, my daughter, she is 11, is just not the outdoorsy type. She doesn't enjoy getting dirty. She doesn't enjoy working with the animals as much as some of the other children do. So she was given a choice in chores. All of the children, we kind of do a lottery. I've shown you in videos before, and the children choose what they would like to do out of the options available. And she chooses to watch the little ones for me during that 20 or so minutes while everybody is outside doing their chores so that I can do whatever needs to be done. Now, normally, the children would have woken up earlier and I would make breakfast. That 20 minutes is when I would be making the muffins or the biscuits or whatever, and she would be watching Hannah for me during that time. Today, since I already got things in the oven, I'm going to head outside for this 20-minute period and just kind of oversee what's going on. It's important for me to check in and be outside during those morning chores at least once a week. Adam tends to do that on the weekends, like checks in on the kids. But my children are extremely capable. I trust them to do these chores really well. But sometimes it just does take an adult set of eyes to just kind of look over things, especially with the little ones, and just make sure that everything's getting done, that the waters don't need cleaned out, that, you know, if we're getting low on feed, making a mental note that we need to run to the store to get more feed, things like that. So I'm gonna go out and oversee that, and by the time I come back in, this bacon should be done, and we can all eat and get ready for the day. I'm already sick of being in my PJs, I'm sure. Yeah, so we're gonna get ready for the day and then move on to accomplishing our goals. All right, everybody's in from chores and breakfast is ready, and this is unintentionally, I guess, brought to us by the letter B. It feels like a Sesame Street episode because we have biscuits, blueberry jam, bacon, and berries. I might scramble up some eggs for the kids that do want them, but otherwise, here is breakfast, and we're gonna dig in. Was doing that, and she would laugh when...
Where'd go?
Yeah. That was cute.
We, all three of us.
Yay! Say bye-bye.
I take first
Bye-bye
shower.
there. Say bye-bye.
If I get first shower.
Hey guys, how did Hannah get a marker? Does someone have markers down? Okay, it is 9:30 now, and morning chores are mostly done. My washer is about to go off that it is done, and so I'm going to switch loads of laundry, check on all the kids to make sure everybody has done their morning hygiene and brushed their teeth and done all of that, and then I'm going to head outside before it gets too hot today and start harvesting onions. So let's get going. When you get a bunch, you can hand them to me, and I'll put them in the wheelbarrow. How's that sound? Did I?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, uh-oh, I'll get it. That's okay. All right, we're done, and we are itchy, right? Are you itchy?
Yeah.
Why are we itchy?
Because we were working in the garden.
There's weeds everywhere. What do you think? What does that garden look like?
Forest.
A mess. Isn't it a mess? But we were talking while we were out there, and what does God do with messes? What can He do with messes?
He can turn them into something good.
He can turn them into something good, something beautiful, right? And so just because we're not perfect, just because our garden isn't perfect, doesn't mean that the Lord won't bless us. And this is evidence. What did we harvest?
Onions.
What did we harvest over here?
Cabbage.
Cabbage.
Blackberries. Whatever that is.
Peppers, zucchini,
Tomatoes, zucchini.
cucumber. So we got a nice little basket here. This will feed us food for today. And we can go back probably for another bowl of blackberries, right? We had to stop because our bowl was full. But we have a whole bowl of blackberries, probably the same amount of cherry tomatoes. We harvested a nice little cabbage that I want to make for dinner. We got some cucumbers for lunch. We got a zucchini. I want to make zucchini bread tomorrow. And look at the size of this pepper. That green pepper. These are the yellow monsters that I love to grow. I picked it green because I want a green pepper for a meal here. But so, I mean, I really let my garden go over the last couple months? Why did Mom not get out in the garden much?
Because a problem with your pregnancy.
I was very sick, right? And the thought of going out in the heat and pulling weeds was just too much for me. But that's okay. So I'm going to show you the onions that we harvested. We have some that are really beautiful. Nice, big, beautiful onions, right? And we have some that are teeny tiny, right? And that's what happens when you don't weed an onion bed. Onions do not like to compete with the weeds and will not grow big bulbs if they have to compete.
But I think if they compete, they might just have the same chance of winning.
Some of them did win, right? This one competed with the weeds, and look, it's still big and beautiful, right? So we are grateful for whatever we're able to harvest because it's a blessing. And to be honest, I only put, I think it was $30 worth of onion seed in. I have a friend who, a local friend who gives me my Patterson onion seed, and he did me a favor this year. I went and picked up his Azure Standard order. What are you doing? And because I did that, he threw in some extra onion seed for free. So I think I paid $30 in onion seed, and I grew way more onion than $30 worth. What it would cost me to get this much onion in the store would be way more than $30. So it's a win. Yeah, and so that's a great lesson learned, is that you don't have to be a perfect gardener. You know what? And I don't think there's been a year in the last 5 or 6 years that my garden hasn't eventually gone to weeds. Usually it's just later in the season. Usually by the beginning of August, I have to completely let it go because I'm so busy with harvesting and canning that I can't keep up with weeding anymore. This year, unfortunately, I just never kept up with the weeds. We got it planted and it just kind of had to be let go. So that's okay. I am happy. The Lord always provides. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take these onions. They're still wet from the dew. Are you wet?
My pants are.
Yep, my skirt is soaking wet because it was very dewy in the garden. But it was nice to get out while it was still dewy because it was not hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was nice. We have a good cool breeze. It's like maybe 70 degrees. So this is nice. But we're going to lay these up on the picnic table on the deck in the sun and let them dry out before we move them to the cellar to cure. Sound good? All right, let's go.
Fly!
Hi, Tom. All right, let's move this up to the deck. Try to lay them in one layer if we can. I can come out and straighten them up. Right as we finished putting the onions on the picnic table, the appliance delivery truck pulled in. They were not supposed to come until later this afternoon, and they just showed up early. So I told you, it's like we can never have a day where things go as planned. Like something always shakes it up. So hopefully that was our one shakeup of the day. I'm actually glad they came. I wasn't able to get to the garlic that I wanted to do this morning because the whole delivery and installation took a little longer than expected. It's almost 11:30 at this point, so I'm gonna have to get busy getting lunch prepared. So hopefully I can get to the garlic this afternoon, but I'm really excited about our fridge. You guys might remember it was last month. The fridge in here died, and Adam pulled it outside and was able to fix it, but we decided to make that our overflow fridge in his garage for just like beverages and things like that. Because we wanted to have a full fridge in here. So instead of a fridge freezer combo, we're at the point with our large family where we wanted the whole space to be just refrigerator. Because we have so many deep freezers in other areas to keep frozen food, we just don't need the freezer in the house. So we had to wait quite a while. We ordered this over a month ago, but they didn't have it in. I don't think there's a whole lot of people that like whole fridges, so they had to special order it to get it here. But I'm really excited. I'll show this to you guys. It's been a long month without a fridge in here. I have this tiny little mini fridge that I've been using for condiments and things like that. So grateful to have a fridge. Let me show this to you guys. So it's a Danby. I've never had this brand before, but this was the only one we could find that would fit this space that is full fridge. So look at all of this fridge space, and like I said, with a large family, we need this much fridge space in the house versus needing freezer space. This is very exciting. Just waiting for it to cool down, and then we can get it all filled up. The onions are out here. They're all drying. We just need the dew to dry off of them before we take them downstairs. And I will tackle this afternoon along with the garlic that's down there. Let's make lunch. So in the cooler months, my go-to lunch is soup. It's just the easiest thing for me to make. It doesn't take very much time, especially if I do the work in the summer to can the soup and just have it in the jar. Then all I have to do is dump it into a pot and warm it up. Maybe have some bread baked earlier in the day or have some crackers or something for the kids to have with the soup. But no one really wants to eat soup when it's warmer out. So my default lunch lately has just been like a charcuterie lunch for the kids. It's just the easiest thing that I could do during these months. I take whatever like veggies I got from the garden. Today I'm going to cut up the cucumbers that I just harvested and set out the cherry tomatoes that I pulled from the garden as well. We'll just get some crackers. I have some meat sticks up there, whatever fruit we have that I can cut up, and just kind of lay all of that out. Any kids that want like a sandwich with that, like a sun butter sandwich, I'll have some bread and the rest of the jam from breakfast along with sun butter, and they can make that. It's just, I like to keep it really simple for lunch because that's just what works for us. So I'm gonna get busy cutting up fruits and veggies, and then I'll show you the spread after I get it done. I got some of the cherry tomatoes that I picked from the garden this morning. Very few of my kids actually like cherry tomatoes, so most of those will go in the fridge to save for later for me to snack on, but the few of them that do like them can enjoy that. I cut up a pineapple and some oranges and a couple of the cucumbers that we harvested. Of course, we've got some raisins. We've got leftover biscuits from this morning with some jam. And then, like I said, the kids can add sun butter or make a sun butter sandwich if they want. Here's some beef sticks. These are from Aldi. I've been getting these. This isn't a typical purchase for me, but I have found that with us being on the go a lot in the evenings, I need a protein snack source, and I just haven't had the time to make my own beef jerky lately. And so these are actually a pretty decent option. There's no nitrates or sugar or MSG or soy, a lot of the stuff that would be in traditional beef sticks. So I don't mind these, and I had them and needed some protein. I didn't have a chance to hard boil eggs. Usually I would hard boil eggs and have that as a protein option when we do a snack spread, but since I didn't do hard boiled eggs, these are a good option. So I'm going to call kids down and they can just kind of snack and make a little plate. And I need to prepare for getting Hannah down for her nap here soon. We'll use what I kindly refer to as our prison trays for these kinds of lunches. They work great for the kids to just fill little compartments with whatever they want. There you go. What are you going to have? Oh.
I haven't need to put them in my cup.
Okay, I'll get you some water.
And the drive it would take to come back.
No.
Means that they have to leave there earlier.
But they're not gonna have to do church.
I'm gonna do church.
Yeah.
Grace. Oh yeah, another thing is
They're
we're
coming back
gonna
Sunday,
our
right?
Bible. It's Grace, because we're doing church.
The kids did a pretty good job of eating everything. Looks like I need to cut up more cucumbers next time because they ate all of those, so that's a sign that they want more. As I thought, the cherry tomatoes, very few of them actually ate them. They ate most of the meat sticks. I'll just leave this fruit out And they'll snack on that here for the rest of the day. But otherwise, is your belly full?
Yeah.
Good. Now it is time for my little break and for Miss Hannah's break. She's going to take a nap, and she goes down fairly easily. It usually takes me about 20-25 minutes to get her down, but I do have to lie down with her in order to get her to go to sleep. So it's a wonderful opportunity for me to put my feet up. Oh, thank you, honey. Snuggle her for a little bit and rest. And when I was in the throes of my first trimester, I would fall asleep and take a nap with her. Lately, I've been having more energy, so I'm going to be able to go out and tackle the next project, which is getting to the garlic. First, we're going to fall asleep. Are you ready to go night-night?
Yeah.
Yeah? Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. I definitely could have stayed in there and slept. I actually took a little bit longer than I thought. I was in there for about 40 minutes, and while she was falling asleep for that 40 minutes, I got all of the footage that I filmed this morning put into my video editing app, and majority of that edited, so that was nice. Killing two birds with one stone there. Now I am hungry. I'm gonna eat some leftovers from last night's dinner. It's chicken and rice and peas. I didn't get a chance to eat lunch when I had the snack spread out, and I had a little bit of eggs this morning with the children, but otherwise I'm pretty hungry. So I'm going to eat, charge my phone for a little bit because the battery is dying, and rest, and then as soon as my phone is ready here, we are going to head down into the cellar and work on garlic. Feeling refreshed, I ate some food. I got to go upstairs and spend some time with my older kids, just kind of check in with them and see what they were up to and talk to them for a while the little ones are napping. Actually, all three of my little boys were very hard at work playing all morning and wore themselves out, and they fell asleep also. So all of the younger four are napping. All of the older four were just upstairs hanging out, so I got to spend some good time with them. And now I'm ready to do the next project, which is to focus on this garlic. And I also have some potatoes down here that we're curing that I think are ready for storage. So I'm just going to get these potatoes in a box, and I'm just going to put them down here somewhere in the cellar to keep for eating over the next probably 3 weeks is maybe all they'll last. And then this garlic I'm going to get in a box and take it up on the deck with me to clean it up. Right, here is the job that needs to be done. I just need to cut off the roots here so that they're a little cleaner. And then I'm gonna peel off the outer papers that kind of have dirt on them. I'm not worried about getting them perfect. Just a little cleaner for storage. And then cut the stalk off. And then we just have our cute little garlic bulb. I'm going to try to keep my hard nut garlic and my soft nut garlic separate because I do want to experiment this year on storage and see which ones last longer. So I'm going to get busy here. This is going to take me a little while, but the kids are all having fun doing what they're doing, so I'm not going to bother them right now. I'm just going to knock this project off here by myself. Here's my rather small garlic harvest this year, and that is intentional. I have pickled garlic scape still left over from last year, garlic scape puree in the freezer from this year. I have garlic scape powder that I freeze dried, as well as garlic powder from last year's leftovers. So I really didn't need a whole lot of garlic. for this year. So I intentionally only planted 2 little beds. It's much like the onions, like there's some really beautiful bulbs, and then most of them are kind of small. A lot of that has to do with me just not watering and weeding like I should have. But I'm satisfied with this. This is a lot of garlic. It pays for the seed that I put in the ground and then some. So as long as we're making money and we have enough to get through the year, that is what matters to me. There are lots of different ways that I have, oh my goodness, these roosters are loud. There's lots of different ways that I have stored my raw garlic in the past. I have a whole video on how to braid soft neck garlic. I'll put a link to it in the video description if you're interested. I debated whether or not I wanted to do that this year with my soft neck and decided to just go ahead and do it the way that I did it last year because I really liked how it worked out. I had bought a big bag of these onion bags on Amazon. I think about like 100 of them came in the box. They're extremely affordable, and it was just a really easy way, now that I have a root cellar, to store my onion and my garlic. I could just hang it from the ceiling on hooks, and it stored really well. So what I like to do is divide it into bunches of maybe a dozen heads of garlic, somewhere 10 to 12 maybe, a manageable amount to bring upstairs, and then once I work through those, I can go down and get another bag and bring it upstairs. So that's what I'm going to do. Just get these garlic into bags, and then I'll go hang them down in the cellar, and then we can start moving onions downstairs. All right, all done, and just in time. It is getting rather warm out here. I could use that breeze that we had earlier today. I'm gonna go hang these downstairs. I've got to take everything that I cut off of the garlic bulbs out to compost, and then I'm gonna move onions down to cure. Okay guys, it was warm out there. I'm glad I got that done. I'm actually really excited about this onion harvest. This is, despite the size of the onions, this is going to be a pretty good amount of onions for my family for the year. I'll have more than enough for fresh eating, to have onions for my canning, and then I'll probably be able to powder some for onion powder too. So that's really exciting. Now they just need to cure just like the garlic did and the potatoes did, and curing just allows the outer skins of the onion to fully dry out, to let all of these greens here fully dry out, and it helps just protect the onion so that it won't rot in storage, and it will hopefully last us through most of the winter. Although usually I find that my onions kind of start to go soft at some point in maybe February or March. So we'll just see. Hopefully this year we now have the cellar to do our curing. In the past I had to cure them in my garage where it was a whole lot warmer, so I'm interested to see if the cooler temperatures help with the longevity in storage. We will have to see about that. Now I'm going to go upstairs, cool down, get something to drink, and then it's time to get my girls ready to go. They are heading off. They're going to go down to Cincinnati for the next 3 days to hang out with their cousins while their cousins are off school before they go back to school. Then I need to get my boys packed because they leave early tomorrow morning to be with their grandparents for the weekend. So it's just going to be Adam and I, my 2 big boys, and Hannah for the weekend. And we've never had it like that. So I'm very excited to make some good quality memories with my big boys. Spend a lot of time just kind of hanging out with Hannah, and it's going to be great. But I need to get everybody packed, and the girls leave in a little less than an hour. So spend some time with them before they hit the road. Alright, my original intention was to take you through the whole day and show you dinner and everything else, but this video is probably already too long as it is. And so I think I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys will give me some feedback in the comments. Some of you have mentioned over the last year or so that you miss the old style of vlogging, and that you don't particularly like the voiceovers that I've been doing for the last couple years. So I thought I would switch it up with this format and see how you guys like it. I see benefits to both. I really like doing a compilation video of everything. Oh my goodness, motorcycle just went by. That was so loud. I really like doing a compilation video of everything that I am doing throughout the week, and then I can just voice it over, and I feel like I can offer you more information in that way, especially without distractions, because as you've noticed throughout this video, there are noise distractions and lots of things going on in the house, so sometimes it's easier to voice it over. But I do like sometimes doing a vlog in this style feels a little more personal. I can just kind of talk to you a little bit about what's going on in ways that maybe I don't in the voiceovers. So let me know which you prefer, and we can kind of see what we want to do moving forward. Next week's video will be primarily about the Every Bit Counts challenge, which is our preservation challenge that begins in August. I want to talk all about preparing for it, talk about some goals we're going to set, and just any questions you have about the challenge. So I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend, and that your upcoming week is blessed. We will see you back here next week. Until then, friends, bye.